what's the next thing I want to work on? I'm thinking the steering column module. So yeah, I want to integrate that, see if I can mount that on the Land Rover steering column. So I'm going to have a look at that now. That steering column module is going to replace all of this, including my aftermarket cruise control add-on. And I could probably make up a bracket here for the switches on the Tesla steering wheel. These ones, I have to take them out of the thing. So I'll have to take apart the Land Rover and start playing and seeing what I can get to fit. Use extractor. Do not use hammer to remove wheel. Good advice. Right, there we go. Done. No, not really. So I've just plonked that there. Obviously that's designed to clamp over steering column. I can easily make up a spacer because that diameter of this column is a lot smaller than the Tesla one, so that's easy. Then I've also got to interface this inner column with this white bit that needs to turn with the steering wheel. Next problem is you got these protruding, which one is easy, it's airbags, which don't need it, and I can just put a resistor in further down the line. The other one interfaces to the horn and the buttons. Horn and these, which I do want to interface, but the problem is these sort of protrude a bit too much. So you can see there the steering wheel needs to go in a little bit more, and obviously there's no room for the plug. The other thing, is that going to be a good distance? I think it'll be okay. Bring that closer, it's already touching the steering wheel. So steering wheel has to go down more, and this, ideally this needs to go back onto the column more. So let me do some more thinking about that. And just looking at fitting this back onto seeing how it works in the Tesla. So this is much thicker than the Land Rover. It's got a couple of locating things at the top. It's got this ridge thing here, and then it locks in with a little clip that goes into that hole. And you can see steering wheel here. These are the things that interface with the white bit in the middle of that steering column module. And yeah, you can see it's got room for the plugs. What does this teach me? I don't know yet. Just useful to know how it works. To get this sitting back further down the column, it would be quite easy just to cut the end off that. I can get, the bearing is there, it's 15 millimeters down, so I can actually get another 15 millimeters, which is plenty. I just don't really want to cut the end off that if I don't have to. If I have to, that's might be the only way to do it. I can't move this up. I don't think I can. Maybe I should check if I can move the steering column back a bit. So yeah, I've just looked at the bottom of the steering column there, and I can't get it to move up without a fair bit of pain in the ass. So unless I think of something better, I think I'm going to have to cut that off. So we've got the steering wheel module here, and this plug here is obviously, well, not obviously, maybe it's not obvious. These are the airbag squibs. It's the first and second stage and a deflator, I think. Anyway, I need, as part of the plans to not get errors, they have to have a 2 ohm resistor in them, something like that. And this is actually the steering wheel, the Land Rover steering wheel will be hard up against here, so I won't have room for the plug. This plug, basically goes past through here, and it's actually this, there's 6 pins there. It's supposed to go straight through to this plug here. So all the things come in here. So I've decided to, I'll just remove this, take it out, and solder the resistors, 2 ohm resistors, directly onto the end of these wires. So I've done one here. I'm actually just pulling them out of the plug here. You can see I've pulled the N2 out, and it's actually got this black thing is the locking thing for the pin. So actually this needs to slide out, and then you push down these little tabs, and then you can pull it. So I'm actually just soldering directly onto the connector there, and then with a bit of heat shrink. And I've left the resistors at full length because I want them to act as a fuse as well. It's a nice small, only quarter watt resistors, I think. But if the airbag does get set off, which is a possibility, it's going to be putting, I think it uses capacitors in the RCM module, I'm not sure, but it puts a fairly decent current, it allows a fairly decent current through to blow the airbag. And this can, oh God, what am I trying to say? The small wire on this will act as a fuse and will burn out basically if the airbag does go off and disconnect it. So yeah, and I think that's a good way to do it. I like how in the wiring diagram they even give you the length of the wires. So these wires go back all the way back to the RCM module, which is over there somewhere, and it's 1924 millimeters, 0.0822 roughly. Yep. There we go, need a little baby cable tie for this one. Job done. So the pins are all out of there. All the resistors are there. They're not going to come loose. They're soldered in. And we don't have to have that big ugly thing hanging out of the steering wheel module. So this is what I'm going to incorporate into the Land Rover steering wheel. You got the buttons, push buttons and scroll wheels. There's a little light, optical light thing that comes up through here and shows the arrows left and right. These ones. So I'll just probably 3D print something to get that sitting in the Land Rover wheel. This is the horn. I'm just going to put a momentary push button, so I'll get rid of all that. And it's just a wire there and there, so that's pretty easy. And then all these connect through to this module, which reads the switches and then sends it back to the main steering wheel controller in here via LIN bus, which then broadcasts all the things on the CAN bus. So there's only 3 wires I've got to connect. Okay, so I'm just looking at mounting the steering column thingy, the interface thingy. So one thing that locates it, make sure it sits in the right position, are these holes here that line up with these are actually holes designed to pull the steering wheel off. These are 1/4 inch UNF. I thought they were M6 originally, but good old Land Rover, they use some things are metric, some things are imperial, but these are 1/4 inch UNF. Okay, well, done it now. Cut 15 millimeters from the top of the column there, so basically right down to the seal. So that'll give me a bit more clearance. There's no structural problem with that. The only reason for that was to mount this. That's just what that clamped onto. So let's see if it all fits now. So I've got the steering wheel scroll wheels mounted up. Horn button, that's just temporary at the moment because it's not a momentary button. I'm just waiting on some buttons to come. And modified this little enclosure for the scroll wheel ECU. Had to take off this corner and the little tabs that mount it so that it fits in here. I've also had to just trim the side of the out there, so then it just fits under the centre bit. I've used some M5 screws to secure this on. That's cool. And you can see how these are mounted in there. This is for the horn, so basically connect them through a switch for horn on and off. So once I get the horn switch, I'll wire that up. So let's see if it fits. Here's the stalk. I've got the 3D printed adapter there. See if it fits. So this will slide down and will be limited by the end of the column. And then once I've sorted where it's going to be placed, I'll actually put some screw holes, threaded holes into the column to hold this. It's upside down. To hold this in the right place. Steering should be pretty much centered at the moment. Oh, hang on. Let's plug one thing. Don't drop it. This plug goes in here. Realise there's just enough room, and then this will go here, and just enough room for the clearance of the wires, and they're not going to scrape because that all turns with the wheel. Cool. Fits on. And the other thing is, when you're turning the wheel, I'll turn this because you're going to turn the wheel, that it's not going to foul on these, and that there's enough room to pull that in and out without it fouling on the wheel, which is okay. And it just sort of, I haven't got it mounted all in securely yet, just taps that. I mean, that's just to flash the headlights, I think. Anyway, I think that's okay. Yeah, nice. And this will go in here. I've put a little couple of cutouts here and here to so the wires can go through those bits. It clips on well. Looks beautiful. And yeah, and then I'll use the I'll have to modify the Tesla steering column shroud. I'm not 100% sure what I'm doing with all this yet, so I won't do that yet. But that's pretty good. I like it. The scroll wheels are a good distance from the wheel. You don't have to reach your thumb too far over. I guess it's good having, you can also hold the wheel there. The stalks are in a good spot, especially when they're secured properly. Do all the stalks and flashing in the way, push the buttons. Nice, I like it. Okay, so I've just tapped an M5 threaded hole there. Right, all done. Right, so we got the stalks. They're actually in a good position. Indicators, wipers, washers, headlight flash, high-low beam. Go forward, go backwards. Full self-driving. It won't do full self-driving. It'll do adaptive cruise though, so just one push down for that. Put it into park. Scroll wheels, you've got your voice commands, push and hold for voice commands. Adaptive cruise, speed, distance adjust, things like that. Horn, and this one will do volume. Change track, press and hold to as a custom button for whatever you want. Yeah, cool. Steering wheel controls on my Land Rover. That's awesome. Land Rover horn. Tesla horn.